There's one thing that makeup brands and high-level political trolls have in common, and that is that they are both using your outrage and canceling against you. Hi friends, thank you for watching. My name is Mia and this is my virtual vanity, a place where we both love makeup and we're quite critical of it. Today we're going to have a bit of a critical essay form video. I've not done these in a while because frankly, I've been depressed by this pandemic. I wanted to be head empty, no thoughts, no think. I wanted my biggest moral dilemma to be my quest choices in The Witcher 3. So it's been a hot minute, but let's get started. Today, I want to talk about how makeup brands and brands in general actually, but with a more focus on makeup brands, are using cancel culture as a way to market themselves. They are essentially using outrage as a marketing tactic. I was inspired to do this by Smoky Glow's latest video on the P Louise cancelled collection, but I had in my head the intention to do this video for quite a while. For context, P Louise has been cancelled by the makeup community because she said the N-word when she was singing to a song and she refused to apologize, giving us a good old excuse of she has a black boyfriend, which, wrong and problematic, but people will never fucking learn. So we figured that she'll go back, minding her own low-key racist business, doing her little makeup brand. And instead, what she did is she came out with a whole collection called Cancelled that has an ugly-ass palette. I'll talk about the collection itself more in my anti-haul. I want to talk more about the principle of the thing. As we know, a lot of brands lately have been trying to make profits from controversial behavior, problematic things that they have done, getting cancelled and so on, without any remorse, rather trying to make light of the situation by being tongue-in-cheek about it. And what I want to say is that this is not audacity. It is audacity, but it's not just that. It is a very deliberate and actually pretty clever tactic to get more publicity than they would ever do otherwise. In the age of social media, marketing really has to be on its toes, right? So it's not enough to have a positive image to get promoted. It's not enough to have good products. Let's face it, unproblematic brands with good products are a dime a dozen. And if you're a makeup brand in this oversaturated, over-consumerist market, you have to find something that makes you stand out. And it is much easier to make yourself stand out by being messy than by minding your business and doing good work. Let me explain why these brands are actually employing psychological manipulation tactics and how they are actually making the consumers spend more money. And by consumers, I don't mean you or anyone else that is in any remote way woke. Although we do contribute to how they're actually making more profits instead of being run into the ground already. Marketing as it is, and I'm no marketing major, so I may say some things that are completely off left field, but marketing as I understand it is target oriented, right? You try to appeal to a target audience and model your publicity, your marketing tactics, your designs, your messages, your communications to that target audience. It will probably not reach the something outside the target audience and make profits for you unless you go viral on the internet. That is something that you've done, that you've said, spreads across the land like the plague we're dealing with this year. And if it does, then you have chances of reaching an audience that you did not have before, people that were not aware that your brand existed, people that wouldn't necessarily use the products that you put out but are now curious, and so on and so forth. I think 90% of the time, aside from those viral moments, marketing is a pretty self-contained thing. Now, outrage, canceling, that's much more volatile, and I dare say it's self iterative. It's no longer self-contained. It spreads like wildfire. What happens is that, let's say brand says problematic thing, does problematic thing, or the brand owner does some shit, and now everyone is talking about them. Their fans are talking about them, either to defend them or to renounce them. People that weren't fans but are in the beauty community start talking about them, and more people get exposed to hearing about this brand. It's true what they say that not all publicity is good, and maybe bad publicity isn't the same as the good one, but they're still getting exposed to so many people that otherwise would have not known this brand existed or would not have had the curiosity to try them before. Let's say Jeffree Star does a problematic thing. You know, he's breathing or something. He cannot go one single heartbeat without doing some bullshit. What happens is the following: Jeffree stans will sing his praises, and that's pretty self-contained. They're like a little bubble, a little tribe in themselves. Keep in mind the word tribe, because I will come back to it later. But then we, the people that really fucking dislike Jeffree Star, will start talking about them. Our followers will hear about what Jeffree Star did. They will start talking about what he did. People that were not in the beauty community will start hearing about the problematic shit he's done. And information trickles down, gets lost. It's a game of telephone, basically. And eventually, you will end up to a substratus of this whole discussion where people just hear about Jeffree Star. They know that he's done something, but they're not really that keen on Googling his whole history of problematic behavior. They will just Google Jeffree Star, they'll see he has some fun makeup, and end up in profits for him. That's why he struggles, and other brands and other influencers like Nikita Dragun struggle so much to keep doing dumb shit, because they know that their bread and butter comes from people talking about them when they do said problematic stuff. Another thing is that, as I mentioned, there is a tribalistic element to it. You start identifying as either someone that does not support this type of behavior, or someone that, doesn't care, or even supports it. But most people will not be so forthcoming. They will say it's not that deep. So let me tell you what happens when you start getting so divided in this case. Let's say Nikita Dragun once more does some stupid shit, right? Nikita Dragun's fans will kiss her ass as usual, no problem there. But then the people that identify as woke will start talking about her, tweeting, Instagramming, calling her out, basically giving her publicity. And yes, I know I'm guilty of this. It's the wonders of the internet. I just cannot shut up. What happens then is the following. People that are fans of Nikita Dragun will feel that an attack to her person is an attack to them and their morals as well, because, well, if that person is wrong and they're supporting that person, then they're wrong as well. I've got a whole video on tribalism and, the makeup industry. I'll link it down below. Check that one out. And they will start arguing with the people that dislike Nikita Dragun. And so, again, the flames of the discussion get fanned up. You get more and more of the woke side arguing against it and giving her free publicity, and then you have more and more of her stans fighting for dear life for this person that does not give one single shit about them. And what sparked this whole thing? Days lengthy debate that leads to more publicity for Nikita, more followers for her, more buyers for her stupid makeup brand. The fact that she did some stupid problematic shit, and we cannot stop talking about it. One problem is that outrage and cancel culture forces you to participate in it, because it has become a performative thing to be woke and to be a good person. To prove yourself time and time again as a good person in the community, you have to perform your beliefs. Because if you do not perform your beliefs, then you are complicit. You are tacitly approving of the behavior by allowing it to, do its own thing uncontested and in peace. In that sense, it's so profitable to use cancel culture and outrage as a marketing tool, because you're forcing both sides to acknowledge your existence. The fans that already love you and the people that need to perform their opinions to re-establish in themselves and in their community their beliefs as someone that is against your position, as someone that is on the good side of things. There's a whole conversation to be had about cancel culture and its different nuances, and when it's good, when it's bad, how it can be used as a tool for social justice, how it can be used as a tool for basically harassing people, how it can be used as a tool to dismiss valid concerns. Cancel culture, just like people, is multifaceted and complex, and I'll probably do a video about it one day when my brain isn't fried by this pandemic. I've started reading a very interesting book by Peter Sloterdijk. The book is called Rage and Time, or something like that. Picture up here for the full title. He posits a really interesting theory that rage has been used by allegedly great leaders as a means of controlling the population for a desired political outcome. So riots, social change, law changes. Some very savvy politicians have been using this as a means to use the mob as a tool, basically. Another way that brands use cancel culture for profit, and it's very evident in how P Louise did her collection, is that you change the Google results. You change your social media presence. You change your digital footprint. Now that she has a collection called P Louise Cancelled, when you Google P Louise Cancelled to find out what she did, or if you Google P Louise Problematic, what you will get is her new makeup. You will not get her bad behavior. She's trying to bury her history behind it, much like other brands have done with similar names. It's a really common tactic to manipulate social media into doing your dirty work for you and erasing your tracks. Also, they use it to stay relevant and appeal to a certain audience. Believe it or not, some people don't give a shit that she said the N-word, and actually, they will support her out of principle. They will say, well, it was just a song, and I think P Louise is right, so I will be giving her my money. Same with Jeffree Star. There will be people that are like, oh, those goddamn lit trying to cancel people out of everything. Can't they see he's changed? And give money as a show of support. Because tribalism, once more, they're trying to use their money as a way to forge community based on a political leaning, based on an opinion, based on what they think is right. So what is my conclusion in all this? My conclusion in all this is that brands are getting really savvy. They've started to understand that making us angry gives them more money. They started to understand that making us angry changes their social media footprint. They started to evolve. And this is not even the final form. I think this is the way of things now. And I'm guilty of it. You probably are guilty of it. As long as we talk about them, we're guilty of it. But we're in such a hard position because being quiet is being complicit in what they're doing. And you cannot stay quiet and allow them to do stupid shit, because then they will continue doing more and more stupid shit and think that it's the right thing to do because no one is against it. So it's just, damn if you do, damn if you don't. Anyway, that was it from me. I would love to hear your opinions down in the comments. Please let me know, what do you think of this topic of cancel culture, or whatever you want to talk about. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please don't forget to have a wonderful morning, evening, second breakfast, third lunch, or whatever it is you're from. Bye!